I'm being joined by Major Mohommed Shah with more details, and he's going to, of course, give us a better perspective into the story. Major Shah, these are very, very strong statements which have been made by the External Affairs Minister. As a defense expert, sir, first of all, how do you view these statements?
Firstly, I think it's very, very good news. When India joins the elite club of the 48 nations there already now. So we've been trying to do that. There was an exception made for France. Yes. France was because China has been putting its foot down, and China and Pakistan, we know they are very great friends and they are allies. So China has been putting its foot down and trying our entry, that we should not get entry into this. Now let me tell you, the NSG, the nuclear the supply group, this was founded in response to the India's nuclear test of May 1974. Now they first met in November 1975. The test demonstrated that certain non-weapon specific technology could be readily turned into weapon development, which means now the world perceived it that, okay, if you do not have nuclear technology with you, and if you get raw materials to develop nuclear technology, it could perceive as a threat, which means now the power should not be misused. It should be used. And it should be used to bring peace. How do we bring peace with nuclear weapon? We bring peace like, okay, supposing you and I, Meenakshi, are having a fight. I have a deterrent weapon with me. Say I have a pistol with me. I will not take out my pistol to shoot, or you will not take out your pistol to shoot me. Rather, you will keep it as a preemptive measure that the other person does not attack. It's a preemptive measure. Now, the nations which were already signatories to the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, NPT, they saw the need to further limit the export of nuclear equipment, because obviously when there is more export of nuclear equipment, there are chances of a nuclear weapon to be developed, which can further be misused thereafter. Now, the materials on technology, another benefit was that the non-NPT and non-Zanger Committee nations, the non-Zanger Committee nation has specifically referred to France, because there was an exception made to France earlier. That's the same point that India, Mr. S. Shankar has brought out. That, okay, when France was brought into this elite club, why cannot India come? And I see no reason. It's very good news, and when our foreign minister is declaring it, I see that India will soon be a member of this elite club. Now, there were a series of meetings in London from 1975 to 1978, which resulted in agreements on the guidelines of export. Now, these were published thereafter. So, most certainly, supposing you have a weapon again, and you want to misuse it, and you don't have the cartridges or the bullets, but you have an empty weapon, it can still be a deterrent, it can still be a preemptive factor. I'm giving this example as a pistol, as a revolver, so that everyone can understand. People do not, so that I don't get too technical and too sound getting back into the nuclear background. Now, the countries which possess, okay, I'll give you an example of Russia and Ukraine, for example. Ukraine had surrendered its nuclear arsenal to Russia. Today, had Ukraine not surrendered that nuclear arsenal to Russia, today the story would have been different. Russia wouldn't have dared to have attacked Ukraine, and there would have been peace. So that is how you can use a nuclear weapon, not just for destruction, but for peace as well. And it's a very, very good news. I congratulate our Ministry of External Affairs for making Herculean efforts in getting our nation there. And we can see India is on the verge of becoming, I would rather call it, not verge, I would rather call it that we are already there of becoming a Vishwa group, becoming a superpower. 48 elite countries, and India is going to be the next. Think positively, positive things will happen, Meenakshi.
Well, absolutely. And how do you view this extremely strong statement, sir, coming from the side of S. Shankar, the External Affairs Minister? S. Shankar now says, we are not going to bow down to anyone. We are not going to, change our track because another country's veto power. It's a very clear message to China, isn't it?
Absolutely, Meenakshi. You are bang on there. As Mr. S. Shankar said, and even our Prime Minister said that we will not look down upon anyone. We will not look up from there to anyone. We will see eye to eye. And anyone who dares to mess with us, we have a befitting reply, not violently, not in terms of our army or our arsenal only, no. In terms of our diplomatic ties, our diplomatic relationships. You saw the world is looking up at India right now. the kind of respect that India has garnered among the international community, it is amazing. Last 2 months, last couple of months, when the war was going on of Russia and Ukraine, we saw so many diplomatic visits, head of states, they all came to India. On one hand, we had a delegation of Russia as well. On the other hand, we had a delegation of the US as well. And US expressed its displeasure initially that why India was not rebuking Russia's actions. But then we have our explanations, and they are very, very valid explanations. Because they are, well, we don't have to give any explanation to anyone. We had a very valid reason, I would say. And because they were very, very valid reasons, of course, no one could say anything to India. But look at the contrary on the other side. Again, a nuclear power, Pakistan. Again, nuclear power.
Yeah.
But then, UK rebuked Pakistan. US rebuked Pakistan. Their former Prime Minister, who was in power at that time, Imran Khan, he came out and he said that UK says they cannot say anything to India because they have the independent, sovereign, they have their own foreign policy. What about us? We are not an independent, sovereign nation or what? So that is how the world will perceive us the way we perceive ourselves.
Absolutely.
And India is standing tall today, Nakshi.
Well, absolutely. India is standing tall, and it's a very, very clear message, not just to the world, but to China. We're all, of course, awaiting India's entry into the elite club. For now, Major Shah, thank you for joining us on the broadcast.